So what we're going to do now is that we're going to clone the application that we're going to use, that we're going to be writing tests against in this course, and we're basically going to be running that application locally. So this application is just a really simple to-do application. It's quite simple and straightforward, and it's quite easy to get it installed and running. It's just a good application for playing around with and writing some API tests against. It's got a UI as well so that we can actually see the impact of the application. So let's go ahead and get it set up and start running it. So we just head over to this website. So we're at Karate Labs GitHub and we're on the Karate To Do app. So I'm just going to clone this to my machine. So I just click code on here, and then I'm just going to copy this HTTPS command here. I'm going to open up a terminal. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say git clone, and then I'll just paste in that git command that we just copied. Hit enter, and that's just going to clone that into this repo for us. Just going to change directory now into that repo. So I'm now in the Karate To Do repo. In order to run the application, I just need to type nvm clean test and then -d test equals local runner. So I'm just going to hit enter here. So what will happen now is that Maven's going to go ahead and pull in all of the dependents that we need for this project, and it should go ahead and start the application. So we can see at the bottom here we're getting a message saying that the server's been started. So if we now head back over to our browser, so I'll just head to this address here at localhost 8080, we should see here now that the application is running. So again, this is just a really simple to-do application with the UI. So let's have a look around the UI. So it just says what needs to be done. So let's just say task 1. We hit enter, and then that creates a task for us. Let's add some more tasks. Say go shopping, learn to code, eat dinner, etc. So this UI has got a bit of functionality. So if we toggle this here, we can see that it ticks all of the to-dos. It looks like if you tick them, then that means that they're completed. We can also tick individual ones. I think we can also filter on them as well. So now that I've got those two ticked, if I tick on completed, it just shows the completed ones. If I click on active, it just shows the active ones. This X here, I'm guessing, clears the to-do. Looks like it does. We get a message here saying the number of to-dos that are left. We can also clear the completed to-dos as well. So this is how to use the application through the UI, but what about through the API calls? For this course, we're going to be more interested in making direct API calls rather than going through an actual UI. So let's have a look at the API calls now as well. So again, for the API calls, I'm going to be using a tool called Postman, which is going to allow me to just send API calls directly to the application.
So I'm here in Postman. I've added in basically all of the different API calls that the Karate To Do application explores. So I'm just going to go through them one at a time. So the first one here, this one just makes a get call, and it just lists all of the to-dos that the application currently has. So it doesn't take any authorization or headers or body or anything like that because it's just a get call. I can just make this get call here, and then it will just return any of the to-dos that I have. So I don't actually have any to-dos created yet, so let me just go ahead and add one. And to do that, I can just make this post call here. So this post call is similar. It calls the to-dos endpoint, but this time it's a post call. And what I'm doing is I'm just sending this really simple blob of JSON here with a title of my to-do and the status of it as well, in this case, complete. So I just hit send on that, and then I get this response back here at the bottom just to show that the to-do has been created. We can also see as well that we get a status of 200 back. Let me just make a couple more. So I'll just change the name to task 2 here, for example. I'll also make one for task 3 as well. I'll choose that one, status 2 complete. So now if I call the get all to-dos, now I'm getting back this JSON object or this JSON array, and that's got 3 different objects in. So one for the first task, second task, and the third task. So as well as getting all the to-dos, I can actually just get a single to-do as well. So for this one, what I do is I need to call this endpoint here, then I need to put in this ID at the end just to get whichever particular to-do that I'm interested in. So if I go over to my get all to-dos response, if I wanted to just grab, I say this to-do, I just need to take this ID here. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. And then on the get single to-do call, what I'll do is I'll replace this ID at the end here, like so. And then if I make that call, then the API just returns this single task for us. And again, we get a 200 response. So if I was putting an ID that doesn't exist, and tried to call that, then this time we get an error back, we get a 404 not found, which is what we would expect. Just call that one again to make sure it's okay. Next thing that we could do is that we could update the status of a to-do as well. So again, to do that, we would need to put in the ID of a to-do. So let's take this second task here. So what I'll do is I'll just grab this second task ID, grab the ID, go over to the update call, and the update call is a put. So you can see here that we've changed the verb to be a put. I'm going to put that ID in here. What I want to do is I want to change the task status to this one to be complete, or change the complete, I should say, to true. Send that over. We get the response 200 OK back. If I go over to get all to-dos, I call it again. Let's see now the task number 2, this one has changed to be true this time. Final thing that we can do is that we can delete to-do. This probably works in the same way that you expect. So again, we specify the delete verb here, and we just need to put in the ID of the to-do that we want to delete. Again, I'll just grab this one here, copy that, go over to the delete call, paste that in. Whoops. And then we get a 200 response back just to confirm that the to-do has been deleted. By trying to send it again and delete it again, this time we get a 404 not found. Again, if I look at all the to-dos, you can see now we've only got these 2 to-dos left.